September 3rd, 2024, at 6:30 PM in the McDonald Brown Conference Room is now open. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for August 20th.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and the first one up is 109 Spring Street for a notice of intent. General stormwater management permit. All set.
Yep. Whoop, there she
There's
goes.
a lot more friends with planning board than you want to say. For the record, again, Chris Vanberg with Civil Environmental Consultants. For this meeting, I also have, have our attorney who specializes in environmental law, Adam Brodsky, on the line as well, in case any other legal questions come up. So really not much different in the way of what has been presented the last 4 times or so. I was not here at the last meeting. I know I was on vacation. I believe there was no really major outstanding issues as far as conservation was related to. Planning board had the issue of, I believe there's a dip or bump in the water main. And that was for essentially the sewer laterals that were required as part of the project. So speaking with the water department, we came up, I understand they have a minimum requirement of 4.5-foot separation, depth of cover. So, so I ended up revising the profile for it to have 4.5 feet of cover, and now this alleviates any dip or bump in the water main that is required. I understand they actually had a meeting tonight. They may talk about going down to a 6-inch main, but we're proposing an 8-inch main, and they talked about, that was going to be hashed out in their meeting. But lowering it, and we had to adjust some of the sewer stub elevations on these 3 lots, and now we don't have any interference. But that's the only, I think, revision that came out from the last meeting, and I think that was it. You guys saw the buffer restoration plan we put forth in front of you. And I believe that was it as far as revisions that we came up with.
I can say the 53G has reviewed it all, and we have met the stormwater and wetland replication. Everything's been approved and reviewed. I know the planning board still has a few outstanding issues that they're looking to deal with. My recommendation is to wait until they've finished it, just so we can refer to all the same set of plans and dates. We can issue it the next meeting on the 17th.
Sure. When is planning board again?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I'm just hoping not to go down this vicious cycle. It's always 2 days right before it. Always.
Right.
So I'm hoping just close it.
Would you say the water department doesn't know if they're gonna put an 8-inch pipe or a 6?
Yeah, we're proposing an 8 because that's a regulation, but based on what I think Wayne Parks, the superintendent, I don't think the superintendent will, but he said he might argue to go down to a 6 because it's just a small nature of the project.
Is that gonna affect anything if it's at an 8?
No, I did look into that and that won't affect it, so.
So either way, it's not gonna do anything different from what you
that's.
revised your plans
No,
for?
he looked, he's like, see if you can either make it a 6-inch if that helps, or, it's realistically, just revising the sewer stubs that are on these
Right.
lots where the water, where it's getting crossing over the water.
53G have any exceptions that needed to be looked at, or they just?
Nope, they've addressed all the concerns and comments. Once the water main was figured out, it was all basically lowering, not raising, so it wasn't like you were bringing in more fill or having to change elevations.
No,
And-
I'd go along with waiting till,
So you guys don't have any issues with the 53G, with what they have to say about the replication?
As in the buffer restoration?
Yep, the buffer replication is, as long as Jack's all set with it.
Yep.
I'm okay with the recommended plantings. I've reviewed the plants they've suggested.
and they're
Everything
going
should
in
work.
before anything starts.
Right, that'll be one of the orders is that the restoration gets done ahead of time, so it has time to establish before the rest of the
And
construction.
just to let these guys know, what kind of plants do you expect to put them in?
The whole list, yeah.
For trees, they have tupelos, red maples, and swamp white oaks. And then there's speckled alder, black chokeberry, buttonbush, clethra, sweet fern, red twig dogwood, hazelnut, witch hazel, winterberry, swamp azaleas, blueberry, sweet fern, arrowwood, and spicebush. And there's pretty extensive numbers of them, and the sizes are well above expectation.
The trees will be roughly 3, 4, 5 feet, or
Trees recommended are 2-inch caliper, so they're gonna be 10 to 12 feet plus.
all right.
And most of the shrubs are gonna be 2 to 3 feet or larger on the
Now, will
shrubs.
those be able to be planted in the fall, or we're gonna have to
Yeah,
wait?
all of these, swamp white oak and tupelos may be difficult to find, but you can probably get them in a container, so they could get planted in the fall.
Okay,
Most of them are gonna be dormant anyways, so it really won't matter whether they get in the fall or the spring. There's enough time now, depending when he starts the project.
Yeah.
I'm guessing where it's late in the season, it might not be till next spring anyways,
yeah.
that they do a lot of the work.
Is that what the plan you think?
Yeah, my brother.
Well, as you can see, maybe going forward,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the first thing, I'm sure, we need to stake the silt fence out when they work
Right.
there, so that's the first thing is getting everyone all the ducks in a row. In the hopes of, I guess, for approval, can it be like conditional approval, because as opposed to just attending another meeting for next time?
You generally don't,
we have to make sure that it's
Yeah.
on the plans and everything's
Our problem is we end up with a 21-day deadline, which the planning board has a little bit more leeway than we do with their, once we approve it, we have to issue it and have it done in 21 days and sent to DEP for their approval and have it recorded. So if the plans
are gonna be changed.
don't match the
Yeah.
right dates,
Yeah.
They have to be,
where our problem ends up coming in.
I mean, it'd be a fairly quick approval, I mean, come back after planning board.
Yeah, I'm just hoping I don't have to come back again. Get sick of hearings, to be honest with you.
sometimes those things happen that way, you can't
If
rush
there are
it.
no changes to the planning board one, the 17th will be it and nobody will even have to be here.
Like, said the applicant?
You could do it on,
Right, you could do it by
Okay.
Zoom, or,
Yeah.
if the planning board has no changes to the plans you presented here to us, then those are the final plans.
Yeah.
And the 17th, we just approve it and be done.
Yeah.
right. Okay,
But if they have changes to the plans, then
all right.
So it could be one more.
Yep. What could it be like a quick, like, hey, we changed the number on it, I have to show up at a meeting?
You can do it over the
if,
thing.
you could, yeah, by Zoom, or even if they're minimal changes,
Yeah.
as long as you get them a week and a day before the meeting, to me, I can review them, and
Just,
nobody even has to be here for it if they're minimal changes that
Yeah.
the planning board's made. Because like I said, the 53G review for stormwater and our side of it is done. And there's no changes recommended, everything's been met.
does anybody in the audience have any questions? Go ahead.
We spoke on Wednesday, and you said the botany plans were changing. There was the potential of the botany plans.
They didn't,
It didn't change?
nothing changed.
Okay.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Hay, what happens, they come in and they plant whatever it is that they're gonna plant, and it dies? It doesn't make it. What happens then?
They have to have 70% survival rate out of what the recommended planting is. And so that's why, if you look at the recommended planting, it's probably greater than what would normally be recommended,
Okay.
knowing that a 70% survival rate is expected. I mean, most of the time you get 80% or better.
Okay.
The bigger trees and the larger shrubs are the main concern, and that's why we recommend getting them in at the beginning of the project, so you can monitor all the way through, and so that you don't have to go through the lots at the end to replace and fix problems that show up.
How many trees is he required to put in?
How many trees, what?
Is he required to put in?
By the way, that was
There's
Tim's
12 large,
background is all landscaping and,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he knows his stuff. so.
Yes.
for the,
Yes.
for the replication area, there's 12 large-sized trees
Okay.
recommended for the planting. And then a lot of the shrubs that he's recommended are gonna be between 8 and 14 feet tall when they're full-grown.
Okay.
So they're sizable shrubs, they're not little low-growing ones. They're gonna be something with some height and size.
Okay. Thank you.
Are any of the trees going to be evergreens? Are they, I'm not familiar with all the different varieties that you mentioned.
The side, and unfortunately, the side closest to the swamp, opposite the harvestwood, the far side, has a few evergreens on that end. The recommended plantings that are on the harvestwood side match the existing that's there, and there are not a lot of evergreens. I did suggest to the botanist, and he came back to me, and it was a legitimate reason why he didn't recommend planting any there, is because it's not matching the plants that are there already. So he was trying to weave in the plants that were there existing. I did look at aerial photos over the last 20 years of what was in that area, and most of the evergreens that have been removed from the site were more in the middle part of it, where most of this development's gonna go. So they weren't really right in that tree line that Jack has now along that property. So that's why they're all deciduous.
So
But they
they're all
are,
deciduous,
yeah, they're ones that leaf out early, and the witch hazels, which are there, are gonna hold their leaves late into the year. So it'll give you some screening, but not as good as an evergreen. But it really didn't match the evergreens that were there.
Okay.
Do any of you have anything behind your house, like any barriers or like to see the property?
No.
I'm just suggesting, I'm not telling you have to, but if you guys are you don't want to see it, just come in front of us and talk, and you can see about planting of your own, possibly trees of,
One of the things we can't, if you want to enhance the 50-foot buffer on any of your property, you can do that. You just can't remove from the
Yeah.
50-foot, but you can add to it. So
Okay.
if you, per se, wanted to add some evergreens or something in that area,
I will say, I did put up a 15, 16, 17 trees of my own in '07 as a natural barrier for the property next door, and they're gonna be, 20 feet
yeah.
high, and they were done in '07, and now it's all natural barrier. I think they look great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you don't want to see anything, just, I'm not telling you have to, but if you want to enhance it for yourself, just to help out for yourself,
Thank you.
feel free, but come in front of us and let us know.
Okay.
So we'll just continue it then?
Yeah.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to,
Oh, wait a minute, I think, Adam, if you want to, yes, do you want to?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Hayes. Good evening, everyone. I think the commission has made clear its inclination. I just wanted to make one final pitch to attempt to close the public hearing as to the issue of orders. I understand that there's no additional information required of the project. These performance standard is being peer reviewed. And I know you're concerned that if there are any changes in the future as a result of the planning board process, that you might have a discrepancy in the plans. But if I might respectfully suggest that it's really a problem for Mr. Peters, that if there's a change, he's going to have to come in and seek an amendment. From his perspective, it's just expensive to have Chris attend another meeting. I would not recommend that we have no one represent Mr. Peters at the next Conservation Commission hearing, even if there are no plan changes, just to make sure that there are no questions that come up that need to be answered. So again, I don't want to over-argue the issue, but I think the commission will be in a position to close the public hearing and issue orders, obviously, within the 21-day period. And thank you just for the opportunity to speak briefly.
so what if the planning board decides to make changes?
Well, that's the problem. Then we have to
No.
decide, is it a minor project change, major project change? If it's major, then there has to be a republication, re-notification of all the abutters and a new hearing. If it's minor, then it still has to be publicly notified, put on the agenda, and presented.
So we don't know, so we can't.
That's why we
Close
don't
it.
do
That's why we typically
Yeah.
try to wait until we know that the final plan's set.
I mean, this is the way that we've been doing it for a while now, so
We should continue.
we're just gonna continue with the way we're doing it then.
I mean, I feel much more comfortable waiting till we have a
Yeah.
final plan set. I mean, if they're minor revisions that something has to get moved one way or the other, that can be dealt with.
Well, yeah, I mean, that could be, for the next meeting, it just be done, and you won't even have to worry about coming in.
No, that's what I'm
So
saying.
that's the thing, so I
If
mean,
they want
it
to,
could
they
work that
can
way.
attend remotely.
Yeah.
I mean,
So that could happen that way, it might not happen that way, but we'll stick with the way that we usually do, the way things we plan on doing. So I'll entertain a motion to continue to September 17th.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to issue the standard order conditions?
Moved.
Nope,
No, not yet.
we're all set. You don't have to, yeah, we're just gonna continue that
Right.
until the next
We'll do
meeting.
it.
Until
We'll
just-
have it, right,
okay,
and close
all
it
right.
then. Yep,
Thank you for your consideration tonight.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Much better set up for the planning board.
All right.
All right, let's see. Next one is 432, 440 West Center Street, DEP file, notice intent for a general stormwater management permit.
And I can give an update. They've requested to continue till the October 15th meeting. They meet with ZBA, I believe, on October 8th. And so they won't have an updated set of plans until after they meet with them on the 8th. And a lot of it right now is driving, parking lot configuration of the entrances in and out. I do know from the latest correspondence that the fire department has concerns about turning radiuses in the parking lot for emergency services because it's so long and narrow in the back to have a swing line area to turn. So there are still some moving parts that could,
Driveway.
right, address.
I did see the driveway that they put off of Lincoln Street, then I did see like a break off, like it was going up towards the Shell station.
This is the 432, 440 is the car wash.
Oh, Kyle, so sorry, I'm thinking,
Yeah,
I'm thinking of that
sorry.
one.
Right,
Yeah.
no,
I
yeah,
was thinking
okay.
of that
Yeah,
one.
the car wash is because of the entrance and the fact that
Oh, okay.
the latest set of plans have two exits.
Yeah.
And one is right after you go through the car wash and a right-hand turn only. And the other one is close to the entrance is a right-hand turn, but it's almost directly across from West Street.
Oh, so that's like
Which-
if you're doing the vacuums, you're going out that way.
Right, you go from the vacuums and then leave, and so your right turn, you could pull out, get into traffic, and then take a left and go right into West Street, kind of straight, which,
That'd be true.
That's gonna be
Right.
an accident
So-
waiting to happen.
that's a
Yeah, it
moving
is.
part that's gotta
It
be
is.
figured out traffic
Yeah.
flow wise.
It is.
You should just make a one-way in, and then just make a bigger well, they can't though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Well,
They widen it, but they can't.
I'm not-
make it too much
Someone
wide.
rocketing out and then hitting the brakes.
you could make them, everybody exit to the far right.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, I,
Just go in, and then just, instead of having that, like, say with the vacuums, just go out the way
yeah,
and just go that way, but.
so, that's why they've requested a continuance
All right.
till October.
Okay. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to continue to October 15th.
We'll move that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I can give you the update on the gas station
Yeah.
for 506.
Oh, okay.
They meet with the planning board tomorrow night. And so that's when they're gonna pitch, I believe, their alternate plans and everything they want to do with that. So that's why they've asked for the continuance to the 17th.
Okay.
So we'll get the final, hopefully, when they come in
Depending on
front
how
of
the
us.
planning board decides, either we stick with the original plan, or I have looked at the filing, and the access road was removed from the final approved plans.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
good.
So I believe we will need MIPA review and approval for that. Have to be asked for another review.
Oh, really?
So
Because it was removed?
Well, because it wasn't on the MEPR-approved plans.
Oh, okay.
Because MEPR approved the final set that they had taken out that access road from. It looks like the drainage calculations do account for most of the runoff. But we've got to confirm that, which means probably the 53G will have to step back in to take a look at the drainage calculations, just to make sure that there's enough basins and everything for all that runoff on the slope.
Okay.
So,
Because it'll just be a natural slope, right, without the driveway.
right, but you still have all that pavement that
Yeah.
wasn't calculated in
Right.
for that roadway down.
Right.
Then
which-
weren't we talking about putting that part that they were gonna take out? Making that, isn't that what was gonna go there? What did we
Well, they
say?
moved their septic system,
Is that where the septic was gonna go?
and that was, I
Yeah,
think,
okay.
where, but the other thing we missed, and I didn't realize, the stormwater basin and drainage for the realignment for 106 and Lincoln Street, that basin that we let them flip to the other side of the road, they basically cleared right to the lot line. And now that they've cleared it, if you've driven by it, there was an evergreen area there of a bunch of
Oh.
pines and spruces.
Right.
So that's gone. So the neighbors now have a wide open view to the entrance. And if you look at the angle coming down from the 506, that access road, all the lights from all the trucks are gonna go right into the back of the
Oh, that's
house.
true, yeah, that's right.
And so I think everybody missed that. And I don't know if the planning board's required a fence around it on the property line, but I'm thinking either a fence or at least a
On
vegetated
the
screen, a
Lincoln-
hedge or
On the
something.
Lincoln side,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
coming down that access road, just to block. I mean, we know how bright the lights on trailer trucks can be.
Yeah.
And having
Since
them
it's
coming in.
So high, yep.
Yeah.
And coming down that slope would,
Right.
so,
Is
that may be
something-
something we have to relook at.
So
we
is
have
that
to
something
relook
we
at it.
can say something to, or
Yeah, it's a suggestion that
that we can do? I mean, we're
depending on the stormwater, we might be able to.
okay.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
hopefully the planning board will catch that one as well.
I don't know.
So,
All right, so that one's gonna be, entertain a motion to continue to September 17th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then, just talk administrative is just 7 Manley Street, what's that?
and that used to be 5 Manley Street, it's now 7 Manley Street. It's the warehouse that went in the back.
Oh, yeah.
They had to do a turtle restoration habitat and donated a large chunk of land buffering the town wells
Yeah,
Yeah.
as part of the project.
yeah.
Everything's in, everything's there.
I think they did a pretty good job in there, huh?
Looks nice.
All the plants took.
Yeah.
I didn't find a single dead
Yeah.
plant. I didn't find any turtle eggs, but I will go back again this month to see if anything used it or hatched.
Yeah.
But they did a decent job with it. I mean, it really,
Yeah.
they cleaned up all the debris that was out there from the
Yeah,
ATVs and
remember that?
trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
benefit for us on that.
Yeah.
So
and-
it's,
In the town, yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no issues approving us.
No.
Okay, so entertain a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 7 Manley Street.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And then I'll just sign some of these papers.
There's a couple things to sign, and other than that, I did not have anything new.
Good.
I have a report. I'm going to be going to the, a free MACC Young Professionals Forest Talk. What it's called, What the Trees Are Telling Us. And it's on September 12th. It's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It was postponed and rescheduled. So I'm going to be going to that.
Where's that?
Out in Hadley.
Hadley? The heck is that?
Out on the Connecticut River.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
When did they reschedule that to? Is it, do they know yet?
September 12th,
12th?
yeah.
Well, you should have good weather for that.
Yeah.
Well, they rescheduled it because it was, last time it was a lightning storm going on.
Yep, yep. Nice area out there. Maybe you should spend a few extra days and make a long weekend.
Oh, just might do that.
Yeah, it's coming your way.
See, the canoe launch, it seems to be getting used quite a bit, huh?
Some people are using that, yes.
Yep. Let's see if it stays in all year now this time.
I think it's a good idea.
Got it. And then this one right here.
What's that?
And so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sounds good.